Hello and welcome to another episode of The Game Plan. It's great to be coming to you all remotely this week. We hope you're all doing well despite the lockdowns around the country. The race is on for the top 8 in the NRL. 4 weeks to go in the regular season, and there are still 11 teams that are genuinely in the race for a top 8 spot. So that's going to be our focus here on The Game Plan today. The top 6, well, they are safe. We're going to focus on the 5 teams jostling for those final 2 spots in the top 8. Anthony Seibold joins me from the Knights bubble in southeast Queensland. Siebes, thanks for joining me once again. 2 competition points separate the Titans, Raiders, Knights, Sharks and Dragons. Do you expect this race to go right down to the final round of the competition?
Yeah, I certainly do, Zach. I think it's going to be an exciting last 4 rounds of the competition. As you suggest, there's only 2 points that separate those teams, and some teams have got better for and against than others as well. So not only will there be competition points, be vital for the last 4 games, I think also the amount of points they score and also limiting the amount of points they concede will play a big factor as well.
So I've given you the tough task of identifying the key player or players for those 5 teams and what they need to do to lift their teams into the final series in just 4 weeks' time. Let's start with the Gold Coast Titans. They're in 7th spot, 3 straight wins, but they've got a tough run into the finals. You've identified a big man and a small man that hold the key for the Gold Coast Titans.
Yeah, I certainly have. AJ Brimson has been outstanding for the Titans over the last couple of seasons. I want to start with him. A couple of things that I see with him being dangerous and I suppose taking advantage of poor kick chase from opposition teams. We'll start here. There's Corey Thompson, who gets the football for the Gold Coast Titans team. You can see AJ Brimson pushing through the middle third of the field. He does that often on kick returns, either when he catches the ball on the full or when he links with his wingers. Now, he's a very dangerous attacking player, and teams have to be on their guard with regards to a minimum 10-man kick chase line. The other thing that AJ Brimson does particularly well is his push support. When the dummy halves in Clark or Mitch Rain jump out of the dummy half position, he pushes around the ruck, particularly when they're coming out of yardage. So he's looking for tied A defenders and tied markers. So again, he's a very effective player when he pushes through that middle third of the field. You can see a couple of examples here against the Dragons and the Bulldogs. Pushes through the middle third and puts Ash Taylor away under the sticks against the Doggies. Again, against the Dragons, I want to talk about a big man now, Dave Fafita. Having coached David, he likes to get the ball in his hands early. Now, we spoke about that when we previewed David before a ball was kicked this season. And you can see some examples here. Gets the ball early against the Dragons, and he's so powerful. He pushes away from Ben Hunt, pushes over the top of the centre there for the Dragons and scores a try in the corner. He's hard to handle. Again, against the Dragons, he had a wow of a game. He likes the ball early or he likes drop-off play. So again, I thought I'd show 2 examples that were really similar to the ones I showed in previewing the Titans at the beginning of the year. Comes back through the middle third of the field this time and easily pushes past 3 or 4 defenders and score under the sticks for the Titans. Last but not least, again, early ball, but you can see Zach when he gets one-on-one with an opposition player, particularly on the edges, on the fringes of the field, he's hard to handle because he can offload in contact, and a brilliant sort of flick pass out the back there to set up a fantastic try in the corner. So those 2 players, Brimson with his speed and his push support through the middle third, and the power and the evasion of Dave Fafita, getting early football or coming back underneath on a drop-off play, they're going to score a lot of points over the next 4 weeks. And if Titans are to win, yes, their defence needs to improve, but you'll see the points and the line breaks come off the back of those 2 players, in my opinion.
Another team that's really turned their year around is the Canberra Raiders. Mid-year, they were almost dead and buried. Player unrest, talk of a rebuild. George Williams returned to the UK, but they've turned it around in the last month or so. And you've highlighted Jordan Rapiner as the key for the Raiders. He spent the first 15 rounds of the season on the wing, but he switched to fullback, and you believe he is their number 1 man.
I do think that he's almost like an enigma, Zach. He's at the forefront of anything that is unusual for the Raiders, and he's probably the 3rd or 4th fullback that the Raiders have used this year. But I think their improved form over the last month or so has been off the back of moving Jordan Rapiner to fullback. He breaks a lot of tackles, whether he plays as a winger or as a fullback. You can see him push through the middle third of the field there against the Parramatta Eels. Break tackles, go inside the A defenders there, past the markers for the Eels, and runs away and puts instability in the Parramatta Eels defensive line. Again, a couple of Sundays ago against the Newcastle Knights team, out the back of shape. He's probing. He's got fantastic ball skills as well. And again, he puts the Raiders' right-hand side winger over in the corner there, and that's again an example of his skill set. He's very good. But the other way that he is a threat is he finds a line. The amount of times he runs from dummy half in close quarters to the try line is unusual. BJ Leilua used to do it when he was at the Raiders, and him and Rapana used to have fantastic ability to score from close range. You can see there again, he did that, Jordan Rapana. I think he's a real key on both sides of the football for the Raiders, because he needs to organise the defensive line of the Raiders team as well. But I've seen particular improvements since shifting him to number one over the last month or so.
Yeah, they've had some handy number ones so far this year, but he's always high energy, he's always busy, and he's been very busy over the last couple of weeks. They need him to be just as busy in the run home to the finals. One team you know better than any other in the competition, Siebes, your Newcastle Knights. Two of their key players have been out and had injury-plagued seasons, but they're returning in recent weeks, and we can see the difference of the Knights when Mitchell Pearce and Calen Ponga are at their best.
Yeah, I couldn't separate Mitchell Pearce or Calen Ponga with regards to the influence that they have on the Newcastle Knights team. One thing I will say is this: Mitchell Pearce has played 7 games for the Newcastle Knights in 2021, and the Newcastle Knights have won 5 of those games. One of those other games, he came off injured in the first half. So he's a very influential player with regards to the direction and attack, but he's also a very good leader. One thing I like about Mitchell Pearce is his pass selection. And against the Cowboys, when the Knights won 38-0, found the right person to pass the ball to close to the line. And again, last Thursday night against the Broncos, very similar, finding Mitchell Barnett rather than the forward at the back of shape there close to the line. He's got that knack and that ability to read the situation effectively close to the line. The other thing about Mitchell Pearce, when he plays at his best, he takes the line on. And again, he crossed the line, which was a crucial try. It was 8-6 in favour of the Broncos with only a few minutes to go. And Mitchell Pearce took the line on, scored a crucial try right on the stroke of half time. And he's a big influence for the Newcastle Knights going forward. The other person, Calen Ponga, again, hasn't played a lot of football in 2021, but the football he's played, he's made great strides with regards to the Knights attack. And the example I want to use is the evasion that he has. Again, similar to AJ Brinson, can blow the ruck apart, going inside the 8 defenders and past the markers. A few weeks ago in that 38-0 victory as well, he was heavily influential, putting Dom Young over for a try from a long-range line break. A couple of Sundays ago, scrum play, get the ball to Calen Ponga's the cry there from the Newcastle Knights. Fantastic ability to break a tackle and use his speed and evasion. But the other thing I like about his game, which has developed over the last couple of seasons, is his pass selection. Putting an Ari Tuala in the corner for a crucial try against the Canberra Raiders a couple of Sundays ago in what was a really crucial win for the Newcastle Knights. They'd come off the back of 2 losses against the Roosters and Melbourne Storm, and it was a big victory against the Canberra Raiders, and Calen Ponga was very influential in that game. And I think if the Knights are to have a very good last month of the season, those 2 guys will be at the forefront of everything the Knights do.
All right, what about the Cronulla Sharks? They're just outside the top 8 as it stands. Earlier in the year, we spoke about the best fullbacks in the game, and there were so many of them. Among them, and the most exciting in your eyes, was Will Kennedy. He had a bit of a form slump in the mid part of the year, but he's returned to form in recent weeks. Do you still think he is the man to lift the Sharks into the finals?
I certainly think if he plays good football over the next month, then the Sharks will play some finals football. Now, obviously, they need some other players to step up. But the thing I'm seeing from Will Kennedy is he's improving his line organisation in defence, and he's improving his work rate in defence. So that's going to help Cronulla Sharks. The other thing I see from him, like I showed earlier in the year, his evasion, whether it's on short sides, out the back of shape, he is an electric player. And I remember watching his dad play for the Tigers, Bubba Kennedy, in the 90s. Well, William Kennedy, mate, he's probably the most improved player in the competition. And this is what I like about him. This is against the Warriors, slips down a short side, 70 or 80 metres out from the try line, and, puts away, the Cronulla Sharks support runner in Connor Tracy, which was a crucial try to make it 6-6. Again, against the Warriors on the weekend, although they didn't get the result, he was at the forefront of everything they did well on attack. Again, a long-range try, out the back of shape. He's a left-hand carry. and he's forever asking questions of opposition defences. Now, it's a crucial game this week, Cronulla versus Newcastle Knights. Newcastle Knights have to shut down and limit the time of Bubba Kennedy. Sorry, of Will Kennedy. You can see against Manly the Monday night before the weekend's game, out the back of shape again, show and go, under the sticks for a 4-pointer, again out the back of shape against Manly. They drag Brad Parker in there. It's a 2v1 situation with Ruben Garrick, and you can see there he's electric with regards to holding the ball in two hands, but he's got the speed and the evasion to break a tackle. And I think William Kennedy is going to be at the forefront of all the positive things that Cronulla do. I like his work rate defensively. I think that's an area he needed to improve, and I've seen that build over the season. So Will Kennedy's a real key for the Sharks.
What about the St George Illawarra Dragons, Siebes? 4 straight losses, so their finals hopes have gone from looking pretty solid to very, very shaky. They're down to 11th, and they've got a very tough run home. They've got the Panthers on Friday night, then they've got the Roosters and Rabbitohs before the regular season is over. If they're any chance of playing finals footy, who's the one player that they need to stand tall?
Yeah, so I think it's Andrew Mcculloch. I think he's their leader at the moment. And the thing I like about Andrew Mcculloch, having coached him, is he's very big on all the effort areas, Zach. People at home don't see what he does off the football. And the effort areas in defence I want to highlight are things like kick pressure and inside pressure. So I've showed a whole heap of examples of players and how they're going to contribute to their teams over the last month of football. And I've showed predominantly attacking clips. Well, I want to show 2 defensive clips. Andrew Mcculloch is fantastic off the football. You'll see here against the Rabbitohs, although they didn't get the money, that's Andrew Mcculloch pressuring Adam Reynolds. He does that time and time again, and it helps his back 3 and his back 5. Again, against the Gold Coast, Andrew Mcculloch taking the kicker to the floor. He's very good with those effort areas of the game. Now, the one thing that Andrew can also do is close to the line, he can pick up the correct player. He often picks up Josh Maguire. They've got a fantastic combo from their time at the Broncos. And you'll see in the clip against Manly, finding the right person in Josh Maguire's short, close to the line. He's got a show and go as well. So Andrew Mcculloch, when he's at the top of his game, will ask some questions of the markers as well. But the thing that he will bring, the thing that Hook Griffin will want him to bring over the last 4 games is that work ethic and making the choices that others don't necessarily make. That's things like kick pressure, inside pressure, and filling the space. Now, that is Andrew Mcculloch. And I think if Dragons make the finals, it's going to be off the back of those effort areas, and he'll lead that charge for the Dragons, I'm sure.
So, Siebes, 4 rounds to go. We all know that 5 doesn't fit into 2. So, along with your Newcastle Knights, of those 5 teams, or the other 4 teams remaining, who else plays finals footy in a month's time?
Well, it's a really difficult one, and I don't want to sit on the fence, but there's some big games coming up. So if you look at Newcastle Knights, they play Cronulla Sharks this weekend. They also play the Gold Coast Titans in a couple of weeks' time. 2 crucial games for all 3 of those clubs. But you'll also see some other big games where teams are playing each other in and around those 7th to 11th position. So obviously I want the Newcastle Knights to be in that top 8, mate. But I think, you've got to look at the Gold Coast Titans at the moment. You've got to look at the Canberra Raiders. They essentially hold those positions already. So it's for them to keep rather. They've got the 7th and 8th positions. They're going to work really hard to keep them. And it's teams like Newcastle Knights, Cronulla, and also the St George Illawarra Dragons who are going to chase those teams down. So it's going to be really close to call. One thing I do know is that all teams will be at their best over the coming weeks. So it's almost like semi-football come early. So for supporters and fans, Zach, I reckon it's going to be a pretty fair month of football to watch.
Yeah, can't wait. Round 22 this weekend, all the way through to round 25. All the highlights you can catch here on NRL.com. And of course, the game plan, we do it each and every week. Siebes, thanks once again for joining us from your southeast Queensland bubble. Enjoy your little bit of freedom that you'll have over the next week or so. And to all of our viewers, thank you once again for joining us on the game plan.